Hello, my name is Benjamin Aaron Johnson, the artist continuously titled, at my own standard, No One the Poet. Making the first vlog, the first lecture for YouTube to connect to my website, whichever website you found this on, to Winter, Vivaldi. And today I wanted to talk about a few things, introductions aside, for the greater standard a human being might have capacitation to imagine for. With absolution. And an important thing I think a lot of civic philosophy may misrepresent in a good truth is patience, to understand that I don't understand, or you don't understand, or we as community members often have pressure put upon us for with which and we do not understand answers to questions. And the stigma of just saying I don't know from a position of academia or political authority or cultural ethos or expertise, to say I have no fucking idea, is very much disrespected. Saying I don't know is very much something people don't accept as a reasonable answer to a question I should know, or a reasonable question you might have a degree in understanding. A simple I don't know for the arbitration of my time is often a valid consideration for me to think about the new context that you have brought to it, or old context you don't understand. And I don't know, as a rational answer, rationalized or valid or invalid answer, is often stigmatized. So even as a mathematician of great accomplish, if somebody says to me, what is 9 times 9? And I say, I don't know. I decide to take my time, and or I decide with the frame of mind that I have that I am not in the perfect focus to do that calculation, even if it is very simple, even if it is my field. And giving a person dignity for that is super important. But that's not what I wanted to talk about today, or here and there, or specifically here. I wanted to talk about the counterpoint to nonviolent non-cooperation, which is what I write about in my civics book, in nonviolent community cooperation. It's an idea I have made up entirely and or borrowed kryptonetically, and or had simultaneously and separate, which is very likely the case. Put on some royalty-free Vivaldi, and let's do Beethoven. So, nonviolent community cooperation is a way that people may engage with democracy in the direct sense to accomplish goals not yet or already accomplished by civic structures of governance. It is a philosophy of democracy to guide you, and I have it in the preface of this book, which is The World Peace Bomb Civics. And you can see my serial 0. So it is nice to see you. Hello, Taryn. Hello, Corlette. Hello, Bradley. Hello, Alex. Hello, Logan. Hello, friends of different times in my life. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Pencil Guy. Beard Pencil Guy. Hello, Benjamin. And random cats across the internet who watch lectures and don't listen as much as they should. Nonviolent non-cooperation is not the same as nonviolent community cooperation. Nonviolent community cooperation is described in the preface as something we as a community can do in order to establish greater equity, greater freedom, or greater destitution, greater power, or more stringent control of power. It is a very non-biased truth. As a community, we can meet in the park, or meet in a parking lot, or meet in a trailer park, or meet upon the internet and decide this is how we will change the world. And it is through community cooperation, through people, and hello, Paul. And it is through community cooperation that we can accomplish things. So a good example, and I have a few here, is you are in a small town, say, and you have a carpenter, you have a baker, you have someone with an expertise of art, you have somebody who understands leadership, poetry, etc. You have 100 people of 100 different fields, and every one of those people of different fields can meet at the park and decide, we want better housing, we want all of the roofs fixed. And then they can decide, okay, we will all put the required split money, equal or unequal, fair or unfair, into a pot and say, there is a roofer in our community who will fix every roof if paid. And through that process, the community builds itself organizationally. And you may do it like a party, which is the preface for the World Peace Bomb, for the book that I have, and it is expensive. But this is an easy way to understand it and not have to buy it. So you can just know this and decide to do it anyway. This is my art press hat. I made some American history today, which was exciting and very nice. I decided to understand religious freedom and sell my art in a public square, public marketplace, unencumbered, because of my religious truth of metaphysical practice and the constitutionally supported understandings by the legality recognized by the Bar Association, as well as the legality set forth in executive actions in 2017 signed by the Attorney General, for which in paperwork is easily acquirable, so you may sell art in America for free, or with tax exemption, following the IRS's rules, your local municipalities' rules, and the Constitution and other freedoms allowed to you by the United States government. You may not be encumbered in a civil place, in a civic place, in a public place. There's legality for it in some form or another on my website or elsewhere that you can decide for or give the finger to, because this is America. Or it isn't, but it should be considered America, because I am an American and that is my truth, valid or invalid, fair or unfair. I prefer the freedom here, poetically and with a good dignity. So we're talking about nonviolent community cooperation. So you may say, oh, my small town is poor. Well, there is 300 people in my town and we do not have any money. How can we afford groceries, much less all of the things that we deserve? Because we have decided that we deserve them and are willing to work for them. Well, there are other solutions. For the internet is a community that you can organize for. This book defines a lot of civic functions you can create, establish, run, etc. But a good understanding is, say you live in a small town in Appalachia, outside of a major city 2 hours away. You might set up an organization for a party in that city, and you might say, my small town is struggling and we have gotten the permit to stand in a park, or we understand the religious freedoms granted by the Constitution to stand in a public place and understand the truth of our metaphysics and practice of art that is of a dignity, spiritual and recognized. And we decide to stand and to formulate a party so that the bakers in that city and the local artisans, the painters and the poets and the musicians can all come together and create a fucking party for world peace. And part of the profits will go to helping this small Appalachian town acquire the necessary resources to live a fuller life. And that sounds maybe to some difficult. And that is why it is called community cooperation, because it takes the cooperation of you and community, which is why difficulties arise when you don't have the will to fix the problems that you have in your own life. Fair or unfair, irregardless, my truth is valid or invalid, but still probably humane, even if it is illogical. So I wanted to say again, it may not have the proper perspective here, which is an important thing in life. Perspective gives you the ability to understand what is and what isn't, or what is because I decide it is, or what isn't because I decide it isn't. In terms of a party for world peace, you may have a battle of the bands, a poetic reading, a theater show. You may have a cook-off. You may have all sorts of things where you may use the internet to create systems to empower equality and equity and freedom, and equally on the exact truth that community cooperation has applicably for its potential in civics is the exact opposite, which is recognized and or disrespected, which is the ability for a community to cooperate in negative ethical ways, which is damned and or understood to be damned or not damned, but either way, a valuable truth to not disrespect. Anyway, it is important to see what a community might be able to do, where a government has its legalities and they have their own system of bureaucracy, which is a civic government, a government that is of the legality side, of the truth of citizenship, of the power vested and allowed by a violence which is called a police or a military. It is called an enforcement, and it is a civic truth which is respected or disrespected. This is a system of economics, a democracy of economy, intellectual economy and monetary economy. It is symbiotic as well as separate and simultaneous. Functionally, to civic government, economics is a governance of philosophy for which human beings may have establishments to create better truths in their lives and organize for actions. And while this book is $38, it used to be much less. It used to be $21.42, where I had my penny and the government had the other penny, and Amazon had $21.40 flat, which is fucking disgusting, by the way. So my hope is that if you buy this book after you are done reading it, please do not steal it on the internet. Send it to your local library, or throw it, give it to a friend, give it to a coffee shop. Don't just give it to everyone like on the internet. I do prefer to make some money, because that is an economic right and something that is a human need. It is something that is dignified to spend 3.5 years writing a book and to hope to get $10 a book, but also telling you legally you are not allowed because of the civics of our government. But I do hope that you spread the physical books that you buy to a coffee shop, to a friend, to somebody who cannot afford it, and especially to a public library where this idea may spread, and for the wealth that I will gain in happiness from knowing that it is successful, the monetary values are not going to supersede that. I do prefer to have a comfortable living outside of this fucking trailer. I do also prefer that world peace is more easily accessible. So that is the line that I have subjective technicalities implicitly decided for, with respect or with a fuck you. Anyway, civics is a really wonderful thing. This book has a lot of amazing understandings in it. There are free resources that I have from this book online. Yes, blogoodles.com is dead. I have no money to run that anymore. I have lost plenty of websites for the amount of money I do not have. Do not blame anyone, unless that is your problem. You can look at thegallerypaper.com and find a chapter on the library system. It's the second chapter. It is the one I am most proud of, and I hope that you take a look at it and go bother the library and change the world history with a couple sheets of paper. I swear, do it. I swear that it is valid and that you can easily do it with a couple sheets of paper and a good perspective, and not a shitty fucking attitude about your life or about the truth that is available to understand, and the power of written words and variabilities of human potential. Do not bother with the frivolous notion that it is worthless, or that your time is worthless for it, or that your time is worthless irregardless without it. Find your own truth, and if you find that to be a better truth, go ahead and fix your fucking local library. And if you could do something like that for your community, maybe others will follow you, and that will be something you can cherish personally, something you can take home and understand for the rest of your life. that you did something in history, that you decided to take action. And that it was worth it. And that's my lecture for right now. 20 minutes and some seconds. Free Beethoven copyright free. And also some Vivaldi Winter. Thank you for your time. I hope you appreciate my civics and the truth that I have here. Enjoy your day.